Most teams blame the model when an AI project underperforms. The model is almost never the problem. The problem is the layer underneath it, and most teams have never built it. We've watched teams spend a year building a data platform, hand it to an AI agent, and get confident wrong answers back. Not hallucinations, technically correct responses to a question the agent was never given enough context to answer properly. Column names with no definitions, lineage that stops at the warehouse boundary, certification status nobody's updated since the last pipeline migration. The model did exactly what it was asked. It just had no way to know that revenue adjusted final version 3 means something very specific to the finance team and something very different to everybody else. The AI readiness conversation in most organizations starts with the wrong question. Teams ask, do we have enough data? Is the model good enough? Do we have the right infrastructure? Those questions matter. But the teams whose AI initiatives keep stalling are running into something else. Their AI agents are making decisions or supporting decisions without any of the surrounding context that makes a data asset meaningful. What a field actually represents, where the data came from, whether it's been validated, who's authorized to see it, and whether the definition the finance team uses matches the one the analytics team uses. The conventional response is to document better. Write clearer column descriptions, build a data dictionary, tag your sensitive fields, assign data owners. This makes sense. It's how teams have managed data quality and governance for years. In a world where humans consume data directly, it mostly works because humans can ask questions when something's unclear. The failure mode appears the moment an AI agent enters the picture. An AI agent doesn't ask for clarification. They work with what they have. When context is missing, incomplete, or stale, the agent fills the gap with inference, with assumption, with the pattern that looked most likely given what's available. The problem isn't that the documentation approach is wrong in principle, it's that documentation degrades faster than any team can maintain it manually, and AI systems amplify every gap rather than working around it. AI readiness isn't a documentation problem, it's a metadata infrastructure problem. And that distinction matters operationally, not just philosophically. Documentation infrastructure is passive. It captures what somebody knew at the moment they wrote it down. It reflects the state of the data state on the day it was last updated. That gap between what's documented and what's currently true is tolerable when a human analyst is consuming the data. Humans bring tacit knowledge, ask follow-up questions, and notice when something feels wrong. AI agents bring none of that. They consume whatever context is present at query time, and they treat it as ground truth. Active metadata infrastructure works differently. Instead of capturing a snapshot, it maintains a living representation of the data estate, automatically updated as pipelines run, as schemas change, as BI reports are published, as data quality scores shift. When something changes downstream, the metadata reflects that change without waiting for a human to update a wiki entry. And when an AI agent queries the metadata, it's querying current state, not a preserved record of the past state. So the reframe for teams whose AI initiatives are stalling is stop asking how do we document our data better and start asking how do we actually build the infrastructure layer between our data and our agents. That layer needs to be connected, current, governed, and queryable. Documentation can't be that layer. Metadata infrastructure can. This is the problem Atlan is built to solve. Atlan is the context layer for AI, the infrastructure where metadata, semantics, lineage, and business knowledge come together so both humans and AI agents can work from the same current source. A few of the mechanics are worth naming concretely. Atlan's Context Engineering Studio is where teams define the business understanding an AI agent needs, definitions, relationships, trusted terminology, and test it before deploying it. One customer used this to achieve a 9x improvement in AI use case accuracy. That number reflects what happens when an agent operates from well structured, validated context rather than inferring meaning from raw schema. The metadata lakehouse makes all of that context queryable via standard SQL from Snowflake, Databricks, BigQuery, or Athena without pipelines or extracts. An AI agent doesn't need a custom integration to ask what assets exist in this domain, what's their certification status, and which ones have active lineage to this report. That query runs against the lakehouse directly, and Atlan's MCP integration means any tool that supports the Model Context Protocol can consume governed, permission-respecting metadata from Atlan directly. The access model is the same for agents as it is for humans. An agent sees only what it's authorized to see, with access enforced through Atlan's personas and purpose framework. The team that gets this right stops treating AI readiness as a question of model capability or data volume. They treat it as a question of infrastructure. Is the layer between our data estate and our AI agents connected, current, and governed? When that layer is working, AI accuracy improves, not because the model changed, but because the model finally has the context it needs to give a correct answer. That's not a documentation win. That is an infrastructure win. Context infrastructure is what separates AI initiatives that compound over time from ones that plateau. But building that infrastructure raises an immediate question. How does Atlan actually stay current as your data environment changes? That's the active metadata question, and it's what we cover next.